Hello, welcome. My name's Tim Burbage. Welcome to Tim Burbage Reads. And today I'm going to be doing a book review for Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. Kissy kissy. So this is my friend Marielle gave this to me, lent this to me, and I started reading it in June to get ready for my trip to Japan, and I finished it in October. I read lots of books in between, so I did take a break from this book, and I came back to it, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it, but I think it did what it wanted to do really well. I just didn't enjoy what it did. Does that make it clear? So, what's this book about? This book has a framing narrative of a journalist meeting a geisha in a hotel in New York, I think it is, and she dictates her life. Growing up in a very poor village, she then goes to Gijon in Kyoto and is a geisha there, then experiences the Second World War and kind of comes out the other side. What did I like about this? So I liked there were some moments of incredible tension. There was one point where she meets a baron, and the baron is a creep, and she's a young woman at this point, and there is inherent tension in their interaction, and I couldn't breathe while reading it. It was so tense, and it was tense for many reasons of what is going to happen to her, and then what are the implications of that happening to her are even worse, and it's all out of her control. That was an incredible piece of storytelling. I enjoyed how I learnt about the social contracts involved in being geisha, discretion, and all of that kind of side. I thought it was very well written. The word choice, it was very wordy, so it's quite a long. It's about just under 500 pages, I want to say. Okay, 430 pages, but it's very small text, and it's very wordy in how it's said. But what I didn't like about it was a lot of the plot. So the reason why I got about 200 pages in, and I wasn't loving it, and I took a break for a few months. And the main thing that I wasn't loving was the antagonist, Hatsumomo. She is a very, very mean lady, and she seems to just be mean for the sake of it. And it was very repetitive in how Sayuri, the main character, was going to try and do something, and then Hatsumomo would be there, follow her, stop her, embarrass her. And this happened again and again and again and again and again. And I was like, I'm just bored of this. It happened so often that I just got bored of it. Another thing that I didn't like is the love story here, because it just kind of creeped me out a bit. So Sayuri, when she is very young, she meets this businessman, chairman, and he kind of offers, he's nice to her, he's kind to her, like one of the first people to be kind to her. And she kind of develops this infatuation with him. And it happens all throughout the book. She never grows out of it, but he is so much older than her. And for a long time, you think that he doesn't know that she even exists, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with someone having like a crush, and it felt like a crush. And then it started becoming not a crush. And then by the end, I really didn't like it. There's inherently weird power dynamics, but also there was such an age gap that I just was not. I didn't like it. And in the book is making it romantic. You know what I mean? Like, I think the book is telling you that this is a good thing, and I didn't like that. And another thing I didn't like was that all of the men in this are stupid. Really stupid and grumpy and incredibly easily manipulated by these women. Like, as all of the men in this are children. And it it brought me out of it. And I don't know if it was meant to be like a female empowerment thing, or it's because in Japanese culture there is so much of like, I am meant to behave this way, therefore you can kind of predict what's going to happen. But I didn't enjoy reading that part. Yeah, so this is my sister-in-law. When I said I was reading this, she was like, oh, it's one of my favourite books. And I get why, because what it does what it wants to do, and it does it really, really well. It's really well written. There's a lot of tension. You learn a lot about being a geisha. A lot of it is very unsavoury and wasn't really pleasant to read. There's a whole bit about a mizuagi, which I'm not going to say what it is, but that was not fun to read, especially when the mizuagi went to auction. Ugh, just gross. And yeah, so and then there were a few things which were really important at the start and then disappeared. Her sister is a very important part. She disappears and is not mentioned much anymore. Hatsumomo, the main antagonist for like a huge chunk of it, kind of peters out. The story really changes, and I don't mind that because this is meant to be someone's life. So, you know, the person who you interact with when you're 6 years old is not going to be, very unlikely to be the person you're interacting with when you're 16, 26, 36, 56, 66. You know what I mean? It's very much a fiction trope of those people, you know, keep turning up in your life. But it just meant that things just moved on. And then there's big time jumps, and I felt as well with Sayuri, she was obviously very talented and very, very pretty. And she's got that kind of, everyone's just going to be really nice to me thing. And I didn't really like that. But yeah, so I gave this 3 stars. It's kind of 2 to 3 stars for me. But if someone really likes this, and if someone is like, oh, that's my favourite book, like my sister-in-law said, I completely get why. This wasn't a book that was executed badly, so I didn't like it. It's a book that was executed really, really well. I just didn't like what was in it. Just not for me. So, which is part of what this mystery challenge is about, in terms of stretching your reading and reading stuff outside your comfort zone. And historical fiction, the historical side I found interesting. It was the men and women gender dynamics I didn't enjoy reading that much, in terms of both how the men treated the women and how the women treated the men. I didn't enjoy reading that. So there we go. Let me know if you've read this. Put in the comments below. Please give this video a like. Please subscribe. Every subscriber honestly makes me feel really, really happy. So, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, get out of my house!